keep one in the first lap practice. Alright, so we're loading into the race session now. 70 laps around Iowa. We're going to follow the same procedure as I did for the last two races, where basically I don't qualify for the race. So during the qualifying session, I just won't go out there and I won't set a lap. That way everyone has a chance to set a lap, and I'll start from the back of the field when we get into the race, and that'll just give me a nice challenge to see if I can get to the front by the end of the race, after starting from the very back. In the last race, there were actually no cautions in the last race whatsoever. So flag to flag, green flag racing, 70 laps. And I made my way all the way from 21st place all the way up to 8th by the end of the race. Probably could have finished a little bit higher had we had a caution to bring the field back together, but 8th is pretty good considering that there weren't any cautions whatsoever. And we stayed on one set of tires for the entire race. So this time, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll go out there and I'll set a practice lap in the 3-minute practice session here, but then in the 5-minute qualifier that comes right after that, I just won't set a lap, and that way we'll start from the back just to give ourselves a challenge. Give this a few more seconds to load. Yeah, so we're just going to go out here, set one lap for practice, and then after that, we just won't go out there for qualifying. Just kind of lay back for that. See what we can do here in practice, though. Race car's extremely loose going through the corners, but we were able to kind of wrestle the car off the corner to set a lap. See me kind of sawing on the wheel just to get it to go straight. So yeah, we set one lap of practice, and so far that puts us in first place for practice with a few seconds left. Yeah, so not too bad for practice. Again, we got really loose. But yeah, for the qualifying session, we're going to just kind of let everyone have at it. This is a 26 car field, so a little bit larger than what we've had in the previous races. I think in the last two races, in both those races, we had 24 cars. This time we have 26. So hopefully we get a good number of people qualifying. The more people that qualify, obviously, the further we'll be starting back in the field. Ideally, I'd start last and then try to work my way all the way up and go and finish first, but usually I won't quite start last. I'll start probably at least a few positions higher than last. But yeah, we'll just let them qualify. This is a 5-minute qualifier. Then after that, I'll be back and we will race. Alright, so we're a little bit more than halfway through qualifying. So far, we've got 15 lap times on the board. That's sort of disappointing. I was hoping to see a few more, just so we'd start further back. There we go, now we got 16. About a minute and 10 seconds left, and then we will hit the grid button right up behind the pace car. We'll have 2 pace laps around, and then we'll get racing 70 laps. Alright, so right now, if no one else were to qualify, we would be starting in right behind this guy. Since we're the number 7 car, we'd be starting 18th. So hopefully we get a little bit further back. Otherwise, it's not really the end of the world, but I'd prefer to start as far back as possible. Because like when you get to the point where you're starting in like the middle of the pack, that's when you really have the highest chances of getting involved in a wreck. So okay, looks like we're going to be starting 18th. 10 more seconds. Guess these people just didn't want to qualify today. Alright, my car is fired up. So drivers will have 2 minutes to grid right here to kind of place their car in the field. Then as soon as that time expires, pace car will start rolling. For this race, just like the other ones in the Xfinity series, we'll have one additional set of tires on top of the set that we're starting with. So very limited number of tires for this race, got to manage them well. So really tire management is going to be the biggest thing in this race. Probably for the first 10 laps or so, I'll just go really nice and easy. Don't try to challenge anyone, just kind of hang out toward the back of the field. And then afterwards just slowly start making my way forward in a way that won't harm my tires. And so really that just entails, you know, not hitting the brake as hard going into the corners, braking a little bit earlier going into the corners, and then on a corner exit not sliding the tires, making sure that the wheel slip angle remains really small, keeping the car as straight as possible going through the corners. Those are two good ways to save tires, and that's kind of the biggest thing. If you kill your tires right away, not going to move forward at all. But if we can manage our tires and save them better than everyone else, we're going to make our way towards the front, which is what we're trying to do. So really for the first 10-15 laps or so, probably not going to pass anyone, or maybe only a couple cars. Like if there's a very clear opportunity where I can quickly overtake someone, I'll pass them. But like if I have to challenge someone for it, and if they're going to battle me for the position, it's not worth going for, because as soon as I start battling someone for position on my brand new fresh tires, it's going to start killing the tires. So I'm just going to wait a little while. Here we go. So really it's going to be nice and smooth on the wheel, not making any abrupt wheel inputs, making sure that I'm nice and smooth on the brake, using as little brake as possible. This guy's making use of brake right now. So pace car's going to pull off this time, and we're going to be going racing 70 laps. Like I said, the last race was completely caution-free. We went flag-to-flag racing under green flag conditions, so hopefully we'll see that here, but probably not, honestly. That was kind of lucky for us. Pace car's off, and we're racing. Got up through the gears nicely. Nice and smooth. Just don't challenge anyone, just kind of save those tires. Already getting crazy going 3 wide. Yeah, now they're wrecking. Alright, that's it. That's it. People suck. What can I say? Yeah, the big one at Iowa. On lap 2 of the race, because people don't know how to drive their race cars, you know? Yeah, you know, nothing I could have done there. That's the problem when you end up in these really low strength field lobbies. When you have those drivers with the lower skill ratings, they just can't hold their car together, unfortunately. And so we end up with that. Not sure exactly where it started. Let's go check that out. Looks like it starts here with the 18. 23 and the 18. I'm not sure what happened to the... Okay, here we go. It starts with the 13. Oh, wait. It starts with the 23. So the 23 comes down. He hits the wall. Coming off turn 2. He misjudges it right there. He hits the outside wall. Not sure how you do that on lap 2 of the race. He must have been pushing his car really hard, trying to hold on to this position over the 13, being really impatient. And so he ends up slapping the outside wall. He overcorrects it down into the 13, which is the second mistake he makes. 2 mistakes in a row. That takes out the 13 car. And then 23 also takes out the 18 with them. 13 slides down the racetrack. Hits the 19. And then behind that, if we go the other way, looks like the 11 or the 8. The 8's trying to avoid the 18 down here, so he slides up. The 8's down there at the bottom. So he slides up the racetrack. He hits the 11 car. The 11 car gets knocked up into me. Boom, right there. And then that's it for us. All happens within the matter of a few seconds. It only takes a few small misjudgments by one driver to cause a huge accident like that, unfortunately. So there's not really any excuse for it because, you know, it's lap 2 of the race. You shouldn't be driving your car that hard. But, you know, it's not like these guys get, like, penalized for stuff like that either. Like, they can just do that in any given race and then just move on and race again without any sort of suspension or, you know, penalty for making a mistake like that. So, you know, it just keeps happening on surfaces like this. Can't really avoid it unless you get a really good qualifying position. You start up toward the front, you don't have to deal with it. But of course, I elected to start from the back in this race, and so that put us in a really vulnerable position. And so we have to deal with someone else's unfortunate error down there. Yeah. Alright, so that's going to be it for this one.